board's clear.
Welcome back, fans, challengers, and esteemed judges. We are excited to bring back the Flip the Script week, where our shooters challenge the judges with a match brief specially designed just for them. They then are the judges, and the judges are now the challengers. As always, we want to thank our amazing panel of judges who have been instrumental in this learning atmosphere at the Shooting Range of Photography Challenge. From New Brunswick, we have Maggie of Mag Hood Photography. From Toronto, we have Spencer of Spencer Wynn Photography. And representing the West Coast, we have Ronald of Ronald Lee Studios. You three are fantastic, and we are so grateful that you've been here with us for season 2. This week, while our finalists focus on their final portfolio, challengers get to step into the role of both admin and adjudicator. We love that our challengers came up with such a fun brief for the judges that encourages them to seek their inner child. One of the virtues of being very young is that you don't let the facts get in the way of your imagination. Sam Levinson. TSR believes that giving the challengers the opportunity to be on the other side of this challenge provides insight on not only the difficulty of having to provide feedback and mentorship on an image, and perhaps making the judges sweat a little like they do every week, but also refining a match brief that is as interesting and meaningful as it is challenging. The judges turned challengers this week were therefore tasked with creating a very busy image. They needed to include as many elements as possible when representing their inner child. They were reminded, as the shooters are, to pay attention to technical elements such as lighting, composition, and depth of field, while creating an image heavily peppered with maximalist vibes. As this is Flip the Script week, we are going to literally flip the script and reserve our general questions until the end. Right now, let's get on to mentoring. Hope, can you give us the first slide, please? This is a collage of all of our entries this week. So let's see who will be stuck hosting myself and Hope on their couches when we are passing through whatever part of Canada they are conveniently in. Next slide, Hope. So in no particular order, we have Rain. Rain is an ambassador and admin for TSR, and she was season 1's runner-up. Her image is titled, If I Could Go Back. Rain, having read the comments, if you could shoot this image over again with all the time in the world, would you change anything? Why or why not?
Yes, I think I would, because I didn't take very much time, to be honest. It was kind of a quick one, even though I put lots of thought into it going in, but I think I would probably remove some things because I'm not very good at Photoshop, so I couldn't Photoshop much out. But I would remove a couple of the things in the corners, I think, that aren't really telling a story, and probably add more of my llamas to my daughter's bed, but she was very helpful. So yeah, I think also I love the comments people gave, and I do like some of the comments about like maybe removing some of the distracting bits. But yeah, I think I would probably just sharpen it up, remove some distractions, and add a couple more fun things if I were to shoot it again.
Awesome, thank you, Rain. Nikki Lynn, you felt that there were a lot of elements working in this image, yet you wanted more of the story of the girl in the image and more meaningful busyness. What might you have done to bring out the story of the girl and increase the busyness of it?
I don't know if I would increase the busyness. I remember the first thought that I had when I looked at this photo after reading her artist statement was that she mentioned that she would look up to the sky, and my first thought was seeing the girl looking up to the sky. I realized that she's in a room though, but and then I thought maybe she's meant to be hiding behind her music. I really liked the image the way it was. As far as busyness, my comment was just if I had to be picky about anything, it was just maybe getting rid of that corner piece and the other thing in the corner, and just having on a flat background. But other than that, I thought the image was great.
Thank you, Nikki Lynn. Now, new judges for this week. Do you have any other, do any of you have anything that you'd like to say? You can answer the question or you can add your own insights.
I'd jump in for a second. I think
Sure.
one of my comments, probably the main comment, was about adding some dramatic light, just, you know, some light coming, raking in or something. I guess I'd like to see some shadows just to kind of pull the focus onto her and the guitar. I don't mind the busyness. I'm okay with that because that's what little girls' rooms look like. But yeah, I'd just like to see a little bit of really yummy light on that subject.
Thank you, Martha. Bonnie, Stacy, or Shauna, would you like to jump in?
This was actually one of my favorite images. I think it totally screams inner child. It's in her bedroom. That's like the bedroom lighting. I just would have filled even more the top right corner. That was basically it. Maybe just crop in just a tiny bit, just fill it a bit more. But I loved it.
Thank you, Stacy. Okay, we're going to move on to the next slide. Hope. This is Spencer's image. 6 in the 6. I've never heard this term, Spencer. Can you tell me what it's about?
Well, Drake and many people much cooler than me have made the 6 a very, very popular hashtag, which refers to the area code here in Toronto, not the surrounding area of Toronto, but in Toronto, which is the 416 area code. So you'll often see t-shirts and whatnot saying something about the 6. So that's downtown Toronto, basically. So this is one of my students. We went to Graffiti Alley, which is an area in downtown Toronto that a lot of people come to visit. And it's an area that I wanted to shoot because I knew it was, you know, all the walls are amazing. At this particular time of day, I had to choose a wall that sunlight wasn't hitting it so that you didn't have shadows that moved over the time of shooting it. Each photo was photographed with the student in that location with another person holding the strobe. So there are 6 pictures here of her. There are also 6 pictures of the person holding the strobe. So they all had to be masked out. And the strobe had to be more or less, you know, used in the same direction to simulate the same sort of lighting, except for one, and that's the woman doing this. In order to light her, we had to kind of cheat a little bit and light her from the front. But each photo was lit with her separately, and then just kind of keep in mind, you know, the overlaps. So when it comes to enhancing and masking, they all kind of layer on top of each other.
Thank you, Spencer. We also want to know, when was the last time that you found yourself on the receiving end of mentoring? And what was this experience like for you?
This morning. So I have another student that I'm mentoring, and she's doing some work for the Canadian Boxing Olympic Association, and so there's a lot of stuff going on there with mentoring with that particular student and telling stories of, you know, individual women boxers who are kind of in the pipeline to join the Canadian Olympic team. So, you know, I stay current with a lot of these students who completely humble me daily because of their own stories and what they can contribute to what's really going on. So it's pretty much daily.
That's good. Thank you. Stacy, you felt that this image had strong technical merit, but didn't meet the brief in terms of showing the photographer's own inner child. If you were able to coach Spencer on how you would approach this brief, what advice would you give?
Oh boy. I guess to just, I don't know, what are your interests? What do you like to do? Just to like, I don't know, I don't see you in this at all. I don't really see like what your interests are, what made you who you are today, like what influences you. I would just focus on that.
Thank you, Stacy. Any of the other judges? Nikki Lynn, Shauna? Bonnie?
Yeah, I'll go. I really liked this one. I know what it's like to do an image like this, but not actually have to mask out the guy holding the light in everyone too. So technically it was done really well. And I liked the girl and I liked the expressions on her face. I liked the graffiti. The only thing that jumped out at me was I was wishing that she was doing some activities and had some props, like the things that he was talking about, like, you know, taking that selfie or doing some kind of youthful activities, like going by on a skateboard or skipping or doing something like that. That was the only thing that I could kind of see that would, I thought, tie it in a little better.
Thank you, Nikki Lynn. Anybody else?
Joanna's here too. She
Oh,
did a
Joanna's
talk.
here too?
So Joanna wants to pitch in a comment. We can, yep.
Yeah, I agree with the other judges. That was kind of what my comments were too on this one. Like, I do really love the technical side of it. It's a really interesting image. I love the graffiti wall, like the location, her expression, all of that. I just don't see a personal connection to the subject that matches the brief. Like, it was to me not like no personal connection to it, like with regards to the photographer. That was about it.
Thank
I
you,
love
Joanna.
it. I love the colors.
Thank you. Next slide, please, Hope. This image, it was done by Shalene, who's also admin and ambassador to TSR. She was also the third runner-up in season 1. And her image is titled, I Spy My Inner Child. Shalene, the challengers love the playfulness and relatability of the image. Did you research Walter Wick and his photography for the I Spy books beforehand, or was this purely off the cuff?
I have had so much experience with the I Spy books over the years. Being a speech therapist, it's one of my favorite tools to use, and they have that particular style. But no, that was a piece of interest to me that I've never researched that person before. No, this was just after having read many of these books and looked at many of their pictures, and I just wanted to do one exactly in the same style.
Thank you.
Just for the record, Walter Wick is the photographer who does the.
He does every single one of them?
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
I
that's
believe
amazing.
so.
Yeah. It's funny when you don't look at it from that perspective. I mean, these books have been in my therapy tools and for my own kids for so many years that I never knew who took the pictures. Because when you look at it from the perspective of how you use them instead of what you do with them, I never even thought about it. I just thought they must have a team of someone who produces the way they look. And I mean, there's a distinct consistency between every single book. So cool. Nothing I ever researched, just wanted to do the I Spy.
Well, here at TSR, you learn something new every week.
It is true. And just for the record, that is not a composite. That is an in camera. I shoot everything in camera. I am not great with Photoshop. That is strictly multiple movings, positionings, a whole lot of fishing line. Yeah.
Great job, Shalene. Shauna, the lighting in this image is typical of the I Spy series books. But as a personal expression of an inner child, you felt that it was a bit flat. What would you have done differently to make this image more dynamic, and why?
I'm a terrible, terrible judge. Okay, so I just found maybe the background was a little bit too white for my liking. I liked how I enjoyed how bright the colors were, and my eye really went around the image, and as I inspected each one, it was very super nostalgic for me, actually. So to go in and look at each little image, I think maybe a bit more shadowing, or a bit more. It just seems just very all one-dimensional to me. I would have liked a bit more contrast, maybe. Or, however, saying that, I wasn't aware that this was typical of the I Spy style. So if that's what it's supposed to look like, then that's cool also.
It's ultra flat lighting. All of it.
Then that makes total sense. Then disregard everything I said. It's beautiful.
Would anyone else like to say, have anything to say about Shalene's image today?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, go ahead, Bonnie.
Yeah, I I totally get what you're doing now. Because I think I commented I should see the I Spy book better, but it's hard to find. Well, hello, that's what the I Spy books are all about. So you can just take that comment off your screen. I get it now. Totally.
Thank you, Bonnie. Somebody else was going to say something.
That was me. I just wanted to say, this is Johanna. So I teach grade 7s, and we've been doing a photography unit in our option class. And so as part of our option, I showed them the series of photos, and this was probably their favorite. They wanted to, I was like, okay, so tell me, like, how does this picture make you feel? And instead they just had so much fun picking out all of the different components. Like, they just started playing the game. They didn't comment anything about the composition, like all of the things that I told them to comment on. They just wanted to be like, oh, I see the duck. Oh, look, there's operation. Oh, what's that? Oh, clue. Oh, look at how that Barbie is. Like, she's not even really holding it. Like, just like commented on. They had so much fun with it. And I was like, okay, but does anybody have anything to say about, the framing or like anything else? But they had a lot of fun with it. I really do like the colors. I do also wish that there was a little bit more I guess depth in the lighting, or it was a little less flat. But I guess if that's the style, it's been a long time since I've looked at one of the I Spy books. And I think I only just had like a little one. And I think it was all like a color behind it, not white. So my awareness of the series is very limited. But yeah, anyways, I love the colors.
Thank you very much. Anybody else before we move on? All right, next slide, please. This image is Maggie's, a compilation of my past. Maggie, you are not by nature a Photoshoppy type person. How was this image created, and what was your inspiration for tackling this concept in the way that you did?
So firstly, this kind of wasn't my original idea to kind of go with, but due to time and just stuff that came up this week, I ended up doing this way. Originally, what I was going to do is do it all in camera. I was going to Photoshop and create a pattern with all the images, and then go in my studio, and I was going to have a projector project them. And I was going to stand there with like my teddy bear that I've had since childhood. And that was going to be the plan. But things happened, and timing wise, it just didn't work out. So I figured I would attempt to play in Photoshop a little bit, get a little bit out of my comfort zone and do, a self-portrait and do some Photoshop and just try something a little different. So this was all done in Photoshop. Essentially what I did was I had previously played and made like a double exposure with a landscape and sorry, my cat's being annoying. With a landscape and a subject. So I used a similar technique, but I took the images and made a small collage and then made them into a pattern. And that's kind of how I did it.
Thanks, Maggie. Martha, you and some of the other challengers felt that this image was intriguing but harsh. How would softening the blend of this image have made you feel more connected to the photographer?
How do I articulate this? Because it looks a little bit cut out. It just, it looks like it's been, made on a layer rather than, than a shot image. There's no wrap around or anything like that. I think it just would have, just giving a few pixels width would have maybe provided that little bit of softness on the edge, especially around the face and and her right shoulder. It just would have made it a little bit more believable and just a little softer.
Thank you, Martha. Does anybody have anything that they'd like to say about Maggie's image this week? I will pick on someone.
I'll go.
Thank you, Nikki.
One of the things that that I kept thinking was, I thought it would be cool if her head was in the clouds type of thing, like if the background had some texture to it, like maybe the sky with clouds or something like that, just to break up that white a little bit, but not be so much where the images would get, overtaken by the background or anything like that. So yeah, so I think that would maybe soften up a little bit of the edges and stuff, but that was my only really thought. I liked the image that she did that way, and I liked it. I liked that it went with the artist. I liked reading the artist statement with the image, like it just hit home for me with the brief. I think, inner child comes from your past, and I like how she was smiling and kind of feeling safe and comfortable and content about her past. I thought that was nice.
Thank you, Nikki Lynn.
And just a little bit of take a brush and just reduce the opacity on her right eye. It's just a little weird to me to see one, like there's almost a line right there. Well, there is a line where the overlay stops and her forehead starts. And I would just like to see that right eye.
Right. Thank you, Martha.
Mad props to you, Maggie, for going deep on the Photoshop, because I don't have that. My cojones aren't that big.
YouTube.
YouTube is a fantastic tool when it comes to like learning a new skill that you have no idea what to do. YouTube has a tutorial for everything in regards to photography. It's fantastic. All right, let's go to the next slide, please. This image was done by Ronald. Are you an Avenger? Ronald, your statement this week touched on current issues. As a commercial artist, do you often have to restrain this part of yourself? And for you personally, how did being able to make a personal statement make this week harder or easier for you?
Typically, most of my work doesn't reflect on politics or current affairs. But in this case, I thought there was a tie-in. So I wanted to put that one in. Does it make it more personal? It depends what the work is. But if I have strong feelings towards the current news or current events, then it can be. Like, I'm certainly putting myself behind it.
Thank you, Ronald. Bonnie. There were notes from most judges about color balance and hot spots in this image. Nonetheless, most of the judges this week were more concerned with parts of Ronald's story that made them curious. Someone suggested that Ronald might have been a more active participant in the image. Someone suggested a more Avengerish pose. Someone felt that the story would have been more interesting if he was holding a boxed edition of one of his superheroes.
Mhm.
And yet another suggestion was that there might be a hidden meaning in the Jesus. As a person who has struggled with storytelling, do you think that these things were an effective way to tell a story, or were they just confusing?
What do you mean by these things? The characters?
Yes.
I didn't find them confusing at all. And I actually saw the connection between Ronald and the fellow in the white, who I wasn't sure if it was Jesus or a Star Wars character. But Ronald had mentioned somewhere in the past that he had a Catholic or a Christian background. And so knowing that and knowing that that's Jesus, I see a total connection between him, and he's reaching maybe towards maybe going back into what his previous beliefs were, Christianity, maybe searching, going back towards that background. But no, I love the characters. I thought it was great.
Do you have any suggestions about the image?
Well, the only thing, I don't know how it was shot, but yeah, the only thing I can think of is the hot spots, the burnt out highlights. I guess it depends on how maybe flag them or something, just to get rid of that little hot spot on his cheek and on Mr. Incredible's face. And that's the only thing I can think of. I liked it.
Ronald, how was this shot? What was the process for shooting this image?
So basically, Friday I went shopping, and I went to a few of the secondhand stores, found some toys I liked. So Saturday morning I woke up really early because I had a photo shoot that day. So I more or less put them all down and put my camera on my tripod and started shooting. So this is a composite. Everything was shot within the same hour, but the Spider-Man, the T-Rex, and myself are all different plates, as well as that metal grid thing. And more or less during my shoot between people, I would run to my computer and put it together. And the actual hotspot, it's funny because you know how when you work on an image too much, sometimes you add too many things.
Yeah.
There actually was no hotspot there. I put in a hotspot to make the Jesus figure glow, but I might have gone too far. And there was actually a white hotspot and a red hotspot I put in there.
So can you tell us what the Jesus figure is? Is it symbolizing something or someone?
Well, I love how Bonnie thought of the symbolization about what I said in the past, because now I'm spiritual but not religious, and thought, oh, maybe it's back to my past, which is, I see that connection. But why I got this, why I put the Jesus there is really twofold. First, when I saw it in the box, I thought it was hilarious that I could find a figure of Jesus, so I had to buy it. And then I thought, well, Jesus figure, how would it relate to all the characters? Of course, all the characters are going to be like, oh my God, that's Jesus. Iron Man, and everyone will be like, wow, that's Jesus. So I put it in the center, and originally I was going to be reaching up to Jesus. But because I can't see where I'm shooting, I'm just sort of putting my hand out. So it ended up being, he was the figure, but I turned him away from camera on purpose. You see, you don't see his face. So that's the mystery. There's a lot of, ideas I put in here. So he's the only person we don't really see his face.
Thank you, Ronald. Do any of the other judges have something they'd like to say about Ronald's image tonight?
I liked everything about this. I didn't care if there was a hot spot. I think there was enough story, and it's such a dynamic image that I didn't even honestly try to look for technical things just because I enjoyed the whole, I liked the division of the colors, the reds and the other, yeah, I just thought it was a great story. Loved it.
Thank you, Martha.
As the owner of a dashboard Jesus, the springy head type, I'm actually a little jealous of your Jesus action figure. I mean, you've seen Ike and Ivy, like I'm totally jealous.
Awesome. Thank you.
I have a question, sorry.
Yes.
I'm wondering, is the phone the remote trigger you're using to take the photo?
That's very clever because it actually is. So I could have done this many ways, but I figured why not just use my phone and try to guesstimate where I was and where the people were. I still couldn't get my direction right after all that, but nonetheless, that was how I was triggering the camera with my phone.
All right. Thank you, everyone. As promised, we have general questions for our participants. Panel judges, did you enjoy tackling a match brief? And what did you learn about the pressure of the what did you learn about the pressure the challengers are under each week? And Spencer, would you mind starting us off?
Excuse me. This was a really fun brief to do. I knew the area that was busy, being Graffiti Alley, and I kind of knew what I wanted to do with the model. As far as the second part of the question, which was, I think what you were getting at was what deadlines?
Like, what did you learn about the pressures of being a challenger? So yeah, the coming up with a concept, shooting it, editing it, and submitting it.
So I'm certainly like the other judges and everybody else, I'm no stranger to deadlines and time management. So basically it was really, the only thing that was really out of my control was the weather and the time of day. And at this time as well, it was also the temperature as well, because it was extremely cold. So between every photograph of her, I had to run and get her coat put on so that she could warm up a little bit. But doing all the rest of the planning it out and time management, that was no problem, because it's what I do, it's what we all do.
Years of experience.
Yeah.
Thank you, Spencer. How about you, Maggie?
I thought it was fun. I loved the brief that you guys chose. Shooting something busy was a task for me because I like clean images. But yeah, no, it was really fun. I think for me, I don't envy you guys doing this every week. We did it one week and you guys have been doing it back to back to back to back. And there's a lot of pressure in that. So kudos to you guys for just showing up week after week and putting out these amazing images. I think it's just impressive.
Thanks, Maggie. Ronald, how about you?
So I think you told us about this concept a week and a half prior, was it? It wasn't, I think we had more than a week, right?
Yeah, 1 week.
1 week? Okay. And like Maggie, like when you said it was going to be busy, I was like, okay, I tend to shoot clean and less busy, so that was going to be a challenge immediately. But I more or less didn't know what I was going to do until about Wednesday. I probably woke up and thought, okay, let's try this idea. And thought about it for a day. And then started asking people, people I knew online and my friends, if they had any toys on Thursday. And then decided, okay, what the heck, I'll just go look for them myself on Friday, and did it. So overall, the process was a lot of fun, I have to say, actually. And I'm actually happy you guys chose this topic for us, because it was actually challenging for me. because like I said, I had no idea what I was going to do for the first part until, I sort of thought, okay, well, better get it done. What am I going to do? And Wednesday morning, I just thought, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Ronald. Admin, you've been through this process of submitting images and being in the hot seat before. What advice do you have for the finalists going into portfolio week? Rain.
Oh, that was such a tough one to keep. Portfolio week was actually the week I struggled the most in when it came to like feeling confident about my images. Like there's one image for sure that I wish I chose a different image. And like, I would say, like, go with your gut. Like, I don't want to, it's hard because like you use your discernment, but like my advice would be, out of whatever concepts you do or series of images you put together to choose from for each of your images, I would say pick the one you like the most. Like pick the one that in a year from now, you're going to be like, I'm so satisfied with that portfolio. Like, because what's the point really of a personal portfolio if you don't love it? Like, if you can't look back and be like, yes, like, even though, you know, there were these critiques or this, it's like, this was my favorite. And so I think like in hindsight, that would be just my advice. And to, yeah, like if you're not enjoying yourself, like enjoy yourself. And then the only other thing, and you probably figured this out by now or already knew, is to try multiple things, like try a lot of variety in perspective or concepts for each of the things, because yeah, you might find that you love one, but the other's better. And you end up realizing that it just fits what you're going for better. And so those two things definitely were like the biggest things that impacted me last year. So, and also good luck. And I'm so excited to see what you guys put together.
Thank you, Rain. How about you, Shalene?
Yeah, I agree with Rain. I think that you have to love what you put in. And I also, for pretty much every challenge, shot multiple versions of what I had in mind. I even did it for this one. I had a different setup and a different angle, and I don't normally shoot other than natural lighting. And so I had a bunch of different lighting options and that kind of thing. So, I mean, like shooting it from a different, you may have the same basic subject matter or stuff or concept that you're going with, but if you can shoot it from a variety of angles, ideas, shots, whatever, I think that gives you the choice about which one that you love the most. And Rain's right, like it's your portfolio. Do what you will be thrilled with when you look at it again.
Thank you, Shalene. So now we're going to move into the rankings, and we're going to still continue with the slides. So Hope, can you please bring up the next one? Shalene. Separated by a single ranking score, we are happy to announce that Shalene's image took 5th place. Shalene, Hope and I are happy to announce you will be our first stop on the tour to TSR. What kind of accommodation will you be providing us? And what local attractions do you have planned?
Well, I think that you will enjoy my fabulous downstairs guest room with 2 lovely, comfortable beds. Yes, yeah.
Yep.
And after seeing my extremely fat pumpkin cat, who just narrowly missed the tractor today, that would be the first stop. And then hopefully you won't come in the snow, and I would show you around my yard and let you, enjoy the whole acreage that is the middle of nowhere Wainwright.
Thank you, Shalene. We can't wait to stop. Next slide, please, Hope. Spencer, you've managed to secure 4th place. What kind of accommodation will be arranged, and what activities should we expect to partake in when we arrive in the T-Dot?
Sorry, I just have to jump in? I'm really sorry, but
Yeah.
my brand new fresh grandbaby is just arriving here, and I haven't seen him yet. He's 24 hours old.
Okay.
So I've got to bow out. Okay,
Okay, Hades, squish him for me.
Yeah.
I will.
Bye.
Big
Hugs
squish.
and kisses to new baby. Bye, Martha.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
I just have to say that is the weakest excuse for getting off this competition.
Getting off this soon. How dare she go visit her new grandbaby?
Congratulations. Hope all are well. The first thing I would do if you were coming to Toronto, the 6, whatever Drake is calling this town, is to get out of this city and to really explore the night and to get away from the city lights and really explore the night sky, which is something I do a lot.
Mm-hmm. Where are you putting us up?
I have a place, we've already got it. It's 2.5 hours kind of west of Toronto, in the middle of farmland. There's no light pollution, and the town has 1 area code. So that shows you, kind of shows you where it is. It reminds me of one of my favorite provinces, Saskatchewan. In terms of light pollution, it's one of my favorite places to shoot.
And we're just going to let everybody know that currently Spencer's going to be traveling to Alberta later this month, and we're going to try to see him, aren't we, Hope?
Coffee and Red Deer. I'm down.
That's right. Yep. I'm going to fly into 21st. I'll fly into Calgary for some night shooting, and we'll try and hook up for breakfast in Red Deer.
Perfect.
That sounds like we're living in a little country, but it's not.
It does. I have a question for you though, Spencer, because you actually do like the nighttime photography thing with your students. That's like a big thing for you. That's one of the big things that your class looks forward to every year, is you taking them out to discover Toronto by night, right? Like, can you talk a little bit about that? Because I'm down for a tour anytime.
Well, truth be told, I actually get a lot of trouble for that because it's not part of the curriculum. But the students these are students who are picking up a camera for the first time, and they're getting used to using their cameras on manual mode. So I thought, well, the best place to experiment with that is to get away from the city. So we go a little bit north of Toronto to a marsh called Holland Marsh, and we meet up at midnight, and we go out for several hours, sometimes until sunrise, and the students are it's the first time they've ever seen stars. And sometimes I take them to Algonquin Park. It's the first time they've ever seen the Milky Way. One student last year broke down and wept because she had never seen this before. So it's really an interesting way of taking what they're learning as far as exposure control and putting it into a real life situation. And for me, it's wonderful to hear I don't see them, but hear their voices in the darkness saying, wow, look what I've created. And that is just the most inspiring thing.
Hope, maybe we join for a night thing, and then we have breakfast in the morning. I don't know. I'm kind of digging this night photography thing.
Which we have the Northern Lights here. They're not quite as bright as Nikki Lynn gets them, but we can pull it off.
I think so.
All right.
I think we have to go to Nikki Lynn.
Yes, we do need to go to Nikki Lynn.
I think so too.
Nikki Lynn's hosting next time.
Hope you have a lot of room at your place, Nikki Lynn.
Oh, we'll find some room. We'll pitch up tents. Really, we're going to be outside in the wilderness.
I have a tent that's about this big that sleeps one, so I'm there. Just invite.
I'll bring my 10-person tent because I like comfort.
I like my hammock.
Oh, I love my hammock too.
I would do a hammock too. All right, we're gonna move on.
All right.
Next slide, please. Congratulations on making it to third place this week, Rain. As you, Hope, and I all live in YEG, what destination location do you have in mind for us on a day trip? What will we do there? And where will we be expected to sleep at the end of the day?
Oh, this is a good one. I took a road trip last summer to Hard Luck Canyon near Whitecourt. Have you been?
I have not, no.
It is
I've
magical. You've been, okay, it's like a magical place that you would not expect is there. It's like this beautiful, deep canyon. It kind of feels like I'm in like Arizona or like Zion National Park like ish. It's like real cool. So we would definitely go to Whitecourt. There's lots of cute little camping areas. We'll camp. I also have a 10-man tent. You can bring your hammocks. And then we'll go to their outdoor water park, get some tea, and some snacks.
One?
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah, and we'll head that direction. It'll be great.
I'm stoked. I got something to do this summer. All right, next slide, please. Ronald, you share the title of TSR runner-up with some pretty respectable folks, including the amazing Rain from our season 2 finalist, who has earned a completely organic photography company called Right is Rain. And of course, Hope, who played second fiddle to season 1 panel judge Darlene Hildebrandt for the Photograph a Song match brief during the Flip the Script week. Hope is still super sore about that runner-up title that she got there.
I almost set my office on fire. I mean, there was nothing photoshopped in that whole picture. The smoke was real. The stars were real.
Excuse me, I've been hearing this for a year now, so my sympathy is now gone. No. Anyways, here's the question for you. When Hope and I arrive at your door, how do you plan to entertain us? And where will we be sleeping after a long day of playing Vancouverite?
All right. So you guys can hang out with me and my buddies. We live under the city and it's really cool. The guys are cool. There's Mikey and Donnie. They like exercising and stuff like that. We all love having pizza, and we have there's an older guy that lives with us. He's kind of strict, but he goes to sleep a lot, so we get all things by him. And for activities, we go up to rooftops a lot and do a lot of exercise. Like we exercise. A bunch of other guys show up. They're dressed in like dark clothing, and we sort of roll around with them a little bit, and it's a lot of fun. You guys will have lots of fun.
I can't remember which turtle carries the camera though, Ronald.
That's Donnie.
What do you mean you live under the city?
It's special digs.
Huh?
Special digs under the city.
I've never heard of this before.
You never heard of it?
No.
Are you a mutant turtle?
There are a lot of movies. There's a lot of movies made about the gang, actually.
Do you not know Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Oh, Donatello. Yeah.
I'm dying.
Leonardo, Raphael.
I thought you were being serious.
Lots of pizza. There's pizza every day.
Pizza.
And Splinter, no.
Yeah, Splinter.
Splinter is the old guy that you can get a lot of things past.
Splinter sleeps all the time, so we can get more or less do what we want.
Got me. You got me.
Me too.
I can't wait to get there. All right. Hold on a second.
My shirt. Well done, Ronald.
Well done. Well done. You got me good. All right. Let's move on to the next slide, please. Maggie, you are our sharpshooter this week. You've obviously figured it out by now that you are the forever young winner for week 9. When Hope and I show up on your doorstep, expecting photography, fun, and 40 winks. How will you be housing us? And where will we be visiting and why?
Ooh, so we got some East Coast hospitality going on here. So, I mean, so you can stay in my studio, which is attached to my garage, fully heated, air conditioning, the whole base. There's ping pong table downstairs, and then there's like a loft with beds upstairs. So, I mean, that's where you can sleep. In terms of what we do, I think it depends on how long you're staying and what your goals are. Are we talking like outdoor excursions, or are we talking like food and drinks?
Well, I'm telling you right now, if I'm coming all the way to New Brunswick, it's not for a day. So
there we go. So, I mean, we can explore around the province. There's so many great restaurants and foods. We can do that. We can go down. You got to do Fundy. Fundy's absolutely beautiful if you've never been, for some photography, hiking, that kind of thing. Lots of waterfalls, ocean, all that stuff.
Yeah.
How close to the Hopewell Rocks are you?
Probably about 2 hours.
Yeah, because Hopewell, right?
There you go.
I was there in 2019 at Hopewell Rocks, and it's stunning. I love it there. I would go back in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it's super nice. Fundy is super nice. That whole area down there is absolutely beautiful. And the food and the craft breweries, if you guys are into beer.
Yeah.
Super good.
We have to go to Parley Beach as well. I like that place as well.
Yep.
In Shediac I had a family that lived in Shediac, and
nice.
And yeah, I've been thinking about moving out to the East Coast ever since. So
do it.
My only rule is that you guys are not allowed to wear bug spray, and I'm allowed to wear bug spray, because usually when I travel, the mosquitoes follow me. So you have to go au naturel. I've been there. I've been to the Hopewell Rocks. I did the kayak thing. That was amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, but the mosquitoes and me, we don't get along. So you guys.
I was there in September. There was no mosquitoes. So
yeah, if you come later in summer, you're good. If you're June, July, you're screwed.
Yeah. Well, if
we
we
were
come
there
later,
in May, for crying out loud.
I mean, they're an all year round kind of thing here. That's just how we roll. Just got to be tougher.
Yeah, I'll show you my mosquito bite someday.
I swell up too. I swell up. We have like the machines, the propane machines on like our properties around here, so that they aren't so bad.
Like the traps, right? The mosquito traps? Yeah.
Yeah. I live in a place called Beaver Dam, which is essentially a huge marsh.
Right.
Like the most Canadian place to live, Beaver Dam.
Beaver Dam.
Yeah. So yeah.
Heaven.
Oh, it's just marshes everywhere, and it's just, yeah. So.
That's awesome.
Well, congratulations. We're showing up at your doorstep. We don't know when, but we'll be there.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Thank you, everyone. Maggie, we wouldn't want you to go without a prize this week. So we have one that's on its way to you. It's a surprise gift, courtesy of Hope's weird collection.
Oh my God. I'm scared. I'm terrified.
You will have to let us know what it is next week, because she won't tell me what it is.
Ooh, okay.
Anyways, thanks for nothing, Hope. But before we sign off and send the challengers off to finish their portfolio, we want to quickly play Benjamin Von Wong's video for those who haven't seen it yet. Hope, please start the video.
Hello, finalists, and congratulations for making it to the portfolio round. My name is Benjamin Von Wong, and while I've been described as a hyper-realistic photographer, I actually consider myself much more of an activist, because everything I do for a cause. I see art as a tool to do good in the world, and I try my best to discover issues that are important and support them. As a result, your mission for the final portfolio challenge is to submit 5 images representing what you are truly, madly, and deeply passionate about. Each image must tell a story in and of itself, but should tie to the central theme of your portfolio. Your ultimate goal? You want to make the judges not only want to learn more, but be excited enough about your subject that we can't wait to spark a conversation and pass it along to someone else anytime that opportunity presents itself. Shooters, your portfolio is due by no later than 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Sunday, March 13th. So please remember that this is the day we spring ahead with daylight savings. I genuinely hope you enjoy playing the role of guest judge next week and look forward to meeting you all for the live Zoom on March 16th, when the winner will be awarded a prize pot including $1,500 in cash and over $5,000 in swag and services, and earn the coveted title of Season 2 Range Master. Happy shooting.
So the judges, or sorry, the challengers are creating 5 images for their final portfolio. Those 5 images are, they can be completely separate or they can be tied to a theme. And the images must reflect 5 words that we've given the challengers. So we've given them the word connect, educate, provoke, inspire, and I forgot one.
Amaze.
Amaze. So those are the 5 words that the challengers will then be putting into their portfolios next week. I hope you judges are ready to critique 5 images for those 3 challengers, and we will have a winner next week. Panel judges, do you have any final pieces of advice for the finalists as they take on their passion portfolio? Go ahead,
For your
Ronald.
final project, go as big as you can. And one tip is you don't have to do just 5, do a bunch and then choose 5.
Yeah, agreed. Spencer or Maggie, do you have any final advice?
For me, I mean, keep doing what you guys have been doing. And, you know, your images, you've seen the time and effort and inspiration and passion that you guys have put in. So just keep doing that. And I mean, from my perspective, just keep making me feel things and tell me stories. That's, you know, that's what I'd love to see. So.
Thank you.
I'm with Maggie on that. Just keep shooting and, you know, shoot without any kind of parameters. Just do what you feel connected.
Thank you. So with that, we'll sign off. We hope as many of Season 2's challengers and guest judges will join us to support the finalists and hang out so that we can all hang out with guest judge Benjamin Von Wong when we wrap up Season 2 next Wednesday on March 16th, 2022. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.